Mahfouz Al-Qadir, Vanguardian News. I'm back. It's been a long hiatus. A lot has happened since my last post, and sort of did this by design because, you know, you just want to take a break and fall back every now and then. And I just want to check out a lot of other people's channels and YouTube and just in general, just soaking up education. I want to read. I want to do more reading as opposed to getting on the internet. I want to get some knowledge. I want to, refresh my knowledge of self, my history as a really been vigorous in soaking up knowledge and ascertaining knowledge of my history, from centuries ago until the present, and just learning. And I've been researching a lot of people's ideas and ideologies, and there's some religion in there that I wanted to dive into. We also have the midterms that I told you way back in 2020, pre-COVID, that will be coming up very quickly. Once the general election with President Biden being elected as president, I said that the midterms will come up quickly, and we need to pay attention to those midterms, especially as a people, as citizens of this country. As expected, there's been a lot of non-activity, a lot of, the January 6th Commission. You saw today, they subpoenaed Donald Trump. I didn't expect anything less based on the mountain of evidence that they had, and based on testimony, the corroboration of that testimony to the evidence, taking documents. So, Donald Trump is a wild guy. We all know that. And he has a very, an appeal on a certain segment of America that appealed to his rhetoric, to his misinformation, to his lies, his overall kind of like casting a vague spell over his constituents. And, he has that power, and he's still in the position that he is. He's very polarizing, and whatever he says or do is always scrutinized to the fullest as expected, being a former president and a controversial president at that, a two-time impeached president also. So you have all that baggage with him. I know that since I think my last post or so, I believe the Queen of England, in that situation, she passed. And then, once she passed and got ill and obviously transitioned on, her record was brought up as far as, England and the colonizers and what they did in Africa and Ireland and India, really the whole English empire, the Commonwealth, so to speak. So that was in the crosshairs for a while, amongst all the, I wouldn't say popping circumstances, but all the tradition of the transition of coordination of Prince Charles, now King Charles of England. And, you get a peek into the monarchy of the British royals. And so the controversy comes, you look at that crown that Queen Elizabeth always wore on their occasions of, that she wore it with that the jewels and the gems that were in that crown. Uh, you know, they're all artifacts of Africa and India and a lot of other different places across, uh, you know, over this world, and that they colonize. So I'm glad that the public got a glimpse that would encourage them to do some more research on these monarchies and England and some of the stuff that they um, were involved in. You know, the atrocities, colonizing a group of people, the Africans, again, England. So it's not always the glamour. You got to get past all that. That's the distraction. But the reality is they weren't good people. And, people say, well, she just, they make excuses, but, I'm not going for it. So I'm not going to go into a back and forth about, her character. She has to, something that, when she transitioned on, she will come to that judgment with her God. So, so I leave that alone. But I'm glad people were active and outspoken in regards to, hold up, wait a minute, let's slow down on all this circumstance. I mean, all this celebration and all this ceremonial. I get it. One group of the world was in mourning of the passing of her death, but at the same time, there were a lot of people. They were celebrating her passage as well, and that's just a fact. So I don't get involved in who's right, who's wrong. If a group of people or countries and nations that felt a certain way about her passing and a certain relief and a certain joyness to it, so be it. Who am I to critique and judge? Yes, an individual who lived a full life. She was in her 90s when she passed away, and she lived in royalty, and she lived in she was financially, she was one of the richest people of the world, had all kinds of access, and her subjects, a lot of them suffered throughout her reign as queen, and so they can try to clean it up all they want, but it is what it is. Just do the research. But anyway, back to just me taking a break. I love my subscribers. Please hit the like button on this video. It helps the channel. Please subscribe and make a comment if you feel impactful to make a comment, because it helps the channel out as well. I'm trying to get the channel to grow, and I wanted to do a grassroots as far as tapping back into the citizens, the common citizens of this country, the United States of America, and just getting to connect with people throughout this country, no matter what part of the spectrum financially you're on, whether, it's the pendulum swings no matter what. So it doesn't matter your economic status. Good people are good people in my eyes. And for that, I continue to persevere and trying to make this channel grow and continue to have a voice out there and speak for people who are, I wouldn't say not in the position to speak, but who tend to don't want to be on Front Street with it. They tend to, if they speak in confidence with their loved ones or friends and colleagues. But I want to come out here and just show people that we got a voice and someone is looking out for you, and we're trying to speak on your behalf. at least raise the questions that many people might have, and hold the government of the United States of America accountable for their actions and or lack of actions as far as people who are misrepresented or underrepresented. And, as far as when immigrants come into the country, that they have full access to what they need, but also, most importantly, the people who are in impoverished situations here, who are not educated in a lot of different things, or do not have a lot of resources to get where they want to be. They need assistance, and they need someone to advocate for them. The youth need someone to advocate for them. Young America needs a strong voice to advocate for them, to show them alternatives and a direction where they can make their beliefs or their political views can be highlighted and illuminated in order for them to make hay in this world, in this country, and make changes. Because obviously our political leaders are too busy being sidetracked by a lot of different things. You have this war in Ukraine that's going on, that's affecting America because we're directly involved with that war. We don't have troops on the ground, but we do have assets there that giving advice and counsel, and we're sending ammunition and military support, humanitarian support as well. And so you have that with Russia. And, that can be dangerous because Putin, as I said before in previous videos, is unstable. And he has access to nuclear weapons. And he attacked a sovereign nation because he wants access to oil, the resources there. Strategically, he wanted to be in a geographical position where it makes him stronger, in his mind, and he will do anything he needs to do to ascertain and conquer Ukraine. The good thing is that the Ukrainian army and military has been very successful in fending off the aggression of the Russians, and ascertaining, getting land and reconquering land that Russia had control of in the country. And so it's not as easy as what Putin might have thought it was. And that irritates him. It makes him also more aggressive. And you can see he is, the missile strikes in civilian neighborhoods and killing civilians and brutally, just unilaterally in the country, just bombing civilian sites, train stations, civilian neighborhoods, and troops that have murdered and raped and shot innocent civilians and kids. So Putin has no chill when it comes to his brutality. And so it's being displayed and the world sees it, and you know what kind of man he is. Meanwhile, back home, you have the January 6th commission that just subpoenaed Donald Trump, I think maybe 2 hours ago or so, to testify, to come and give testimony as to his actions on the January 6th riot at the Capitol. As much as the Republicans or certain Trump-supporting Republicans are trying to dismiss this as some type of wasn't no big deal or dust up, as Jack Del Rio, the defensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders, had said earlier, wasn't a dust up. This was an assault on the nation, on the citizens of this country, on the democracy, and this on the government, and this cannot be not addressed. And they want to make it out to be let's move on, but no, we're not going to move on. We're going to a lot of people got arrested, and a lot of people died. So you're not going to move on. We're not going to file it away as, okay, it happened, let's move on. That's not going to happen. And so Donald Trump has been subpoenaed once again to testify. So, but, when you go into, let's get into this Kanye West situation with him. As you know, Kanye West has been very trending in a not so good light, referring to his words that he has spoke on Nori and DJ EFN on the Drink Champs, and they have the podcast. They're a very successful podcast, and Kanye West was on there, and he made some statements in regards to, some will say anti-Semitic statements. And they took the actually Nori, the host, actually apologized. But Kanye West spoke his mind, and he made some points, and a lot of things, the blowback on that what he said on the Drink Champs is coming to fruition. And a lot of people think that, he's made this point because they're not trying to counsel him. They always try to counsel you. Whenever you talk about anything anti-Semitic, people do not want to embrace or that's a lightning rod, as we know. But a lot of people think he was, making some valid points, and a lot of people thought was offended by it. So it's the country, Some people can think and put his words in context. A lot of people will not just be bothered. They don't want to sit through any type of what they view as rubbish or comments disparaging towards a group of people, and as it should be. But that's for you as its citizens to decide, and the people, the court of public opinion will certainly cast their decision, make their judgment as opposed to whether he's right or wrong. Obviously, you can't say anything anti-Semitic and have these views, and they're hurtful. He mentioned something about George Floyd in regards to, the injecting or having fentanyl in the system, or he was injected with fentanyl. You got to see it for yourself. I don't think he would, but he's being sued by George Floyd's, I believe, family for $250 million. They filed a lawsuit. So your words and your freedom of expression and speech, yes, you can say things. You can have your views. But when you make them publicly, you still can't control the ramifications of that language. And so he's going through that. A lot of people are disassociating themselves, or companies don't want anything to do with that. They want to kind of disassociate themselves from Kanye, or should I say Ye, because he wants to be called Ye, and I'm going to respect it. So this is where we at. You get all these distractions like this Kanye thing to take your eye off the ball of the real situations out here. People are not in good shape financially, man. And it's hard, and, the young ones, the young America, you have a recession going on. Gas prices are still out of control, in my opinion. Food shortages. You're going into the holiday season. And so we have to be compassionate. We have to be forgiving. We have to show some type of love towards people, and be mindful of certain words and what we say when we're trying to make a point. And we have to look at all that. But Ye is an outspoken individual, and he's a billionaire. He has a lot of money. We all know, and he has his opinions. But you have to be careful. And I think he kind of went a little too far, or maybe not explained. Well, I'm not going to say he didn't explain it. I think he just, once he goes in and you're on the Drink Champs, I don't know if the alcohol or whatever, but once you start talking, you're talking freely, being a free talker and free speech. But a lot of times you get clips, people cut clips. And like I said, people are sensitive to the nature of the conversation. And so they already have they already have their guards up in regards to what you're saying. So they're going to come back at you if they don't feel that what you said, if they feel what you said was offensive. And so they're going to voice their opinion too. And people in the powers that be in this country can make life difficult for anybody who's feel the need that they want to step out there on the island and speak against the machine. And that's just the way it is. So it's just one of those things, man, when we want to express ourselves and we want to, we want to live in a world where it's fair. You got so much discrimination. The system that we're under is not designed for a certain group of people. You have to do so much more to, try to be independent financially, as far as trying to, get that financial support to sustain a business, maintain a business. It's difficult for people, of a darker hue to be on that expressway financially as their counterparts who are Caucasian. We all know this. We bring it up to just show you that what we have to navigate through, as opposed to what our white brethren have to navigate through. And coming back to Ye, where he had the White Lives Matter T-shirts that kind of stirred up a ruckus and shock and awe and all that. But I mean, we all know white lives matter, and we know Black Lives Matter. So, art and fashion is fashion. Was it offensive to people? Yes. I think a lot of people thought that it was just a slap in the face to the Black Lives Matter movement, or he was making a mockery of it. I didn't see it as that. I just saw it for what it was, that, his political agenda and where he sees where he want to take this, he considers himself, he has a calling that he feels that this is his time he's achieved so much stuff musically and financially, but he has a bigger calling. He's very religious. He believes that he's doing God's work, and people confuse the messaging of what he does. But you're gonna meet resistance anytime. You're gonna meet resistance, and the thing is, when you meet that resistance, are you gonna fold? And as you can see, Nori, getting back to Drink Champs, apologized and actually took the that video down on the podcast. So was it Nori that did it, or was it the powers that be? Could be a combination of both. But if you're going to stand on something as a man, if you really feel it in your heart, and you're just saying from what your perspective is, you should be able to stand by it. You know, the Drink Champs, they had disclaimers on in the beginning of that broadcast, and so Nori could have just, to me, you got the disclaimer. It's not your views that are expressed. So why do you need to apologize? It was a platform. You know what you're dealing with, and I know you and Kanye are good friends. So it was, to me, is no need to apologize. So, but I get it. I understand it, but I wouldn't have did it. But I get it. Everybody's trying to protect their investment, and I can't tell another man, as far as in his business, what he needs to do to keep on being relevant and having cut off his revenue streams and stuff like that. No, so he did what he had to do. I didn't agree with it, but he did what he had to do. Meanwhile, my whole thing is we have to come together as a people and stop letting the petty people divide us up. Politicians will try to use division tactics. They've been using it for years, divide and conquer, keeping us down psychologically. With the music and hip hop, and it's all about the drill music, and I get it. Kids are just they want the music and stuff like that, but some of the music, man, it's just you just have to understand what's going on. Kanye can say one or two things and it's taken to the point where it's an uproar, but the music that comes out, the drill music of killing ops and making disparaging remarks about dead people's loved ones, no one has a thought about that as far as white America. And the people who run these record companies, they let that music fly. So what's really going on is the question you have to ask yourself. What is really going on? You're so offended by what Kanye said, but yet you get these guys with these contracts, these kids and these young rappers, and they're dying out here, and no one says anything. But yet you continue to put the music out to lead to some of these rappers' demise. So where's the responsibility in that? Where's the vigor? Where's the uproar? Where is that? Excuse my candor. Where is that? I don't understand it. But, it is what it is, man. So I hope people are preparing to vote. Like I said, I don't see these politicians come out but every couple of years when it's time to get some votes, and we can go to Stacey Abrams, and now there's a concern that her backers are saying she's not getting the support of the black males. I think the black males were kind of left out of the movement a little bit, with the Black Lives Matter and then the feminist movement. A lot of black women got positions of power, but the brothers and we didn't get that same energy towards our movement. And together, it's almost like we weren't invited. We should just, we were on the sidelines, but it wasn't really anything. We didn't get that same, in my opinion, that same invite or inclusion. We kind of like, oh, by the way, yes, but we didn't. We were, a lot of things that we had on our plate agenda and concerns wasn't addressed. It was just more of the black women's feminist movement. So now, 2 years later, when you don't see that same numbers and the brothers voting and supporting some of these candidates out here in the Democratic Party, it becomes a concern because you also have a number of Latino voters who's turning to the Republican Party. And so now there's a concern. So you got to stay consistent. You cannot have a lack of inclusion or a lack of inclusion, and then say, "Oh well, you're not supporting us." Well, you were strong. You wanted to be strong, and you wanted to be independent, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you didn't want to. I didn't get that full embrace. That feel of inclusion, like I said, to keep just to wrap that up. So that's just where I'm at today. And it's good to be back on this platform, Vanguardian News, Mahfouz Al-Qadir. And I hope everyone have a great weekend. And I'm going to try to be more active. But, I need you guys' support, man. Support. Please share this video and hit that like button and leave a comment. I appreciate your love. I appreciate all the subscribers, and have a blessed day. Peace.